Stunning lake views, wineries around every corner, endless hiking and biking, ski resorts just minutes away, and world-class golf, and not to mention that incredible Okanagan sunshine. These are all reasons that draw people to live here in Kelowna. But what if I told you there are also some harsh realities that you might not expect? Imagine packing up your life to move to Kelowna, only to discover that some of the things you thought would make it paradise actually maybe make life a little more complicated. Now, I didn't grow up here in Kelowna, but I chose to call it home, and I absolutely love it here. But today in this video, we're gonna uncover some of the ugly truths of why people who actually move here sometimes regret it. Now, if you're new here, I'm Andrea Sereda, and I love to make videos about all things about living in Kelowna and the Okanagan. And I'm a local real estate agent, and we've been able to help hundreds of people relocate here. Now, I want to make sure you have the full picture before making a decision of whether or not to move here. So let's dive in. First, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the cost of housing. Kelowna is continuously ranked one of the least affordable small cities here in Canada. And often when people who are looking to move here Google Kelowna homes for sale, well, they're often looking to find houses for around that $500,000 mark that are nice, newer, and have a yard. Well, reality is, detached homes here often start at the $1 million mark. And even houses which are in need of repair and renovations often go for $800,000 plus. Now, condos and townhouses, they aren't cheap either. You can find a one-bedroom condo in the downtown or in the Mission still going for that $400,000 to $500,000 mark. And renting, well, that too, Kelowna has been tough. For years, our vacancy rate has been below 1%, which has caused rental rates to be competitive and expensive. But recently, for the first time in a long time, we're starting to see a shift. That vacancy rate is creeping up, which is allowing rents to have downward pressure. We're even seeing landlords and some property management companies having to offer incentives, things like a free month's rent or gift cards just to get people to sign a one-year lease. Now, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden we have cheap rental rates. Absolutely not. A two-bedroom is still not a bargain. But in comparison to the last decade of rental scarcity, it is definitely a noticeable change. Now, Kelowna's housing market, it is still pricey overall, but for the first time in years, we are seeing there be some buying and renting power when it comes to negotiating, as we flipped into more of a buyer's market. Next up, let's talk about the weather, because that Okanagan sunshine, well, it's what draws so many people to moving here. Yes, our summers, they are hot, dry, beautiful, and long. We get over 2,000 hours of sunshine. But let's take a look at what Instagram doesn't show you. First up, we have extreme summer heat. In July and August here, we can see temperatures hit that 40 degrees Celsius plus, or 104 degrees Fahrenheit or more. And yes, it's a dry heat, but I can promise you it is still hot. You think you want to take your dog for a walk at 3 p.m. in the afternoon? Well, it's a terrible idea. The pavement is so hot, it could burn their paws. Next, we need to look at wildfire risk. Now, for summer months here in Kelowna and the Okanagan, we are at a significant risk of getting hit with wildfire smoke. And when it hits, it's awful. It can last days, weeks, or even a full month. You'll find ash on your patio furniture. The lake and the mountains are hidden by the haze, and the air quality, it can be so bad that your kids and pets are stuck inside. Last up, let's talk about winter. Now, this is something that often surprises people. And let's be upfront and honest, we're not dealing with the deep freeze like the prairies. But instead, what can make winter feel long is that we get trapped by dark gray skies. The valley can trap those dark gray skies, and we can often go a week or more without even seeing a glimpse of the sun. Snowfall, it's hit or miss. But we'll get a dump of snow that will then melt only for another storm to roll in a week later. The effects of this cause icy roads, sidewalks, and driveways that can last months. And every once in a while, we'll get a cold snap where temperatures plunge lower than normal. Now, it's not our normal. However, it does happen often enough that you are gonna wanna make sure you have a good winter jacket and good winter tires. And while winters aren't the harshest in Canada, they also aren't this mild paradise that some people expect. Between the gray skies and the freeze and thaw cycle, as well as the occasional cold snap, Kelowna winters are still something that need to be adjusted to. Now, we've already touched briefly on wildfire smoke. However, coming in at number 3, we're going to talk about the fact that wildfires are a real thing. Kelowna has experienced them. We've seen entire neighborhoods be evacuated and homes have been lost. Now, living close to forested areas is part of that Okanagan lifestyle, but it's important to know that it comes with risk. Because of this, home insurance costs are rising, and some areas can actually be really challenging to even get insurance. And the premiums, well, they might be higher than expected. So if you are looking to move here, it's something to take into consideration. At number 4, let's take a look at jobs and the economy. Now, here in Kelowna, the job market is actually something that often surprises people. Kelowna is seen as a lifestyle city, and our local economy reflects that. Tourism here, well, it's huge. From wineries, golf courses, ski resort, and hospitality, these can all drive a lot of jobs, and that industry can be amazing. But it can also cause some challenges because it can be seasonal and sometimes not match up with the cost of living. With that said, things are changing. Kelowna has been building a reputation of the Silicon Vineyard, with more startups, gaming companies, and tech businesses setting up shop here. Remote work is also becoming a big part of the picture. We're seeing a lot of people keep those big city jobs but relocate here for the lifestyle. Healthcare, trades, and real estate continue to be big industries, but we're also seeing an increased number of small businesses and entrepreneurs call Kelowna home. So your main takeaway is just to be mindful that Kelowna's job market isn't like a big city hub like Vancouver or even Calgary. So it's a good idea to have your work lined up before making a move or bringing your remote work with you. Or if you need to look, be open to industries that thrive here. Fact number 5 is that the lifestyle is actually not for everyone. From the outside, Kelowna looks like non-stop vacation mode. From wineries to the lake to golf and ski resorts, all within 45 minutes. And yes, it's amazing, but here's where it catches people off guard. Kelowna is still only a city of 150,000 people. We are smaller, which means we have a smaller nightlife, smaller concerts, and only so many places to shop. So if you are used to that big city variety, well, it can often feel quiet and even boring. There's also a transient vibe between the UBCO students, seasonal work, and retirees who share their time here and in other provinces. It can be hard to build community and a good circle of friends. That said, as long as you're willing to put in the effort and put yourself out there, it is doable. Kelowna also moves at a slower pace, and that can be exactly what some people want. But for others, it can feel isolating and slow. I've seen both. In my opinion, it really depends on the phase of life you're in and the lifestyle you're looking to enjoy. Now, fact number 6 is something that actually shocks almost everyone, and that is our traffic. Kelowna is basically one long, stretched out city that runs along the lake with Highway 97 running straight up the middle of it. Now, Highway 97 is a major artery, and when it gets clogged, which it does daily, it can feel like the whole city slows down. In those summer months, add in thousands of tourists, RVs, and boats, and it can take you about 45 minutes just to get across the city. Now remember, Kelowna is only 150,000 people, so that type of traffic isn't typically what you think about in a smaller city. That being said, your traffic frustrations can be managed by simply planning ahead. Avoid those morning and late hour rush hour times. And Saturdays can be brutal, especially in the summer as you head toward the downtown and the bridge. Now, if you plan, try and head out mid-morning, run those errands in the evening. If you're a local, you'll definitely find the sweet spot. Now, here's the funny part. depending on where you're moving from. Like we've had clients moving from Toronto, Calgary, Vancouver. They think it's hilarious when we talk about the traffic. But if you're expecting to be able to get across the city in 10 to 15 minutes, there can be times that are challenging, but it is nothing like a major metropolitan commute. And public transit, while it does exist, it doesn't get used often. People, they ride their bikes depending on where they live in the city and the time of year. However, as the seasons get colder, almost everyone resorts back to their car. So the reality is, if you're moving to Kelowna, well, expect to be driving a lot. It is definitely manageable, but it is just something to keep in mind. Now, last up, we have the cost of lifestyle living. Now, this is something a lot of people don't consider, and that's the cost of Kelowna's lifestyle. Sure, you can hike the mountains and swim in the lake for free, but realistically, Kelowna's lifestyle is about wineries, golf, ski passes, and dining out. And well, frankly, that can add up quickly. For example, say you want to rent a boat and head out on the lake for a day. You're looking easily at $500 plus. 2 people to go eat out at one of our incredible wineries, well, you're at $150 plus guaranteed. Ski passes, over $1,000. Golf memberships can run into the thousands. Yes, there are endless things to do. But you need to be mindful. If you want to live that Kelowna lifestyle as you see it on Instagram, you're gonna need to budget for it. So those are some of the realities of living Kelowna that you're not gonna see on social media. From expensive houses to unpredictable weather, a tricky job market, limited big city amenities, surprising traffic, the cost of lifestyle living, and wildfire risk. So if you are still watching and thinking, I can handle that, I still want to make the move to Kelowna, then I'd love to help. Look, I work in this city, I live in this city, and I love this city so much. I help people like you relocate here all the time. My contact details, they're listed below. And whether you're looking to move in 3 weeks, 3 months, or even 3 years, I'd love to help be a part of that transition. Kelowna really is an incredible city to live in, but I think it's really important that you know both the dream and the reality of it before making the move to call it home. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.